Today, we are here to honor the legend that is Bob Murdoch and talk about leadership and the lasting legacy it has on an organization.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Locked On Flames. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit fanduel.com/lockedon today to get started. Hello, I'm your host, Jessica Mosto, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today as we crawl through the first week of August together and one of the I wouldn't say final weeks of the off season, but we're getting to the dog days of the off season where we're craving any sort of physical contact from hockey players, right? But today we are going to talk about Bob Murdoch and his legacy. He recently passed away, and kind of how paying it forward really changes generations, and it makes for standout players. And we're going to talk about the leaders on the Flames. And because it is Friday, we are absolutely going to be talking about the winners and losers of the week because there are plenty. So make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, and free 99 across the board. And let's dive into it. So earlier this week, Bob Murdoch did pass away. He played for the Flames. And I'm pulling up his story right now here on the Flames website, but he passed away Thursday, and there were a few quotes from the story that I really wanted to talk about and, kind of just reiterate how important it is to be one of these guys. And if you don't really have the qualities to be that guy, not because you're like a bad person, but some people are just like more introverted, how you can still make a difference and how you should find yourself under the wing of someone like Bob Murdoch. So one of the first things that really stuck out to me in this was that he was 36 years old and rooming with a 19-year-old Jim Peplinski. And I think that, so many times that is such a stark age difference. Sometimes they do pair the vet with the new kid, or, they'll have the younger guys together because they're taking their first big steps to the NHL together. But I feel like 36 and 19 just such stark differences. And I mean, even like 19 to 23 are you live multiple different lives during that time. But Peplinski goes on to talk about how he thought that he walked into the wrong room, and he was he walked in on a university professor because Murdoch was in there reading a very thick book with super thick glasses. And stories like this, like moments like that, stick with players and people for a reason, because obviously that's a first impression, but that's how you met them, and that's how you met this person that was going to make such a big difference in your life. Peplinski was interviewed for this article, this memorial article, unfortunately, and says, "We'd go to cities, wander around, look at museums, do different things, and work on conditioning. Over the course of my career, that really paid off. I don't really give myself credit for any of that discipline. I think the people I was surrounded with was an impact of my behavior, and Bob was one of those people." It is so, you shouldn't just be, I mean, yes, you should just be a good person. I mean, it's the right thing to do, but you shouldn't do it for the wrong reasons. You shouldn't do it just because you want recognition, or, you want that Student of the Month award, or you want Employee of the Month because you're nice to everyone. You do it because it's right and because it's genuine. It's coming from a good place and coming from your heart, right? And I think that this is who Murdoch was. And the next story in here says, I remember when we were in Buffalo, Mud goes in the corner and Larry Playfield flattens him, and however Mud went in the corner, he's hurt, and the trainer comes out. I end up besides Playfair and get in a fight with him. I get over to the penalty box, and Bearcat has Mud back on his feet. Mud waves off Bear, which trainers hate, makes Bear walk back to the ice, and he skates over to me and says, Jesus, it's a good thing I softened him up for you, or he would have killed you. He had a self-deprecating sense of humor. So obviously, it's you gotta kind of find ways to laugh at yourself. And I think that being such an impactful player on a team, people are going to look for you. They are absolutely going to want to idolize you and to be like you, because clearly you're doing something right. And you just having players like this on your team and within your organization, even after they retire, and like Murdoch went on to coach for a few years here with the Flames, and it leaves that lasting impact and something that people just don't forget. And I don't know, hopefully y'all are old enough to remember the movie Pay It Forward, and how you do one act of kindness, and then someone does an act of kindness to you, and then you pass it on to 3 more people, and then they pass it on to 3 more people, and it just kind of, it's like a good pyramid scheme, basically. But I think we need more of that in this world, not just in hockey, but truly in every environment, especially with just the way life is. I think that we really do need more leaders that possess these qualities that Murdoch had. It takes a lot of discipline to really embrace a younger player, because I can tell you right now, as a 27-year-old, if a 19-year-old came up to me and was like, we're sharing a desk, I would probably ask to be moved to a different department or somewhere else, because I don't want to share my desk with someone that is that young, because they're often annoying and immature, but it's age appropriate, right? So obviously at 36, you're going to be a lot, you're not going to be going out the way that the 19-year-olds do. And, you get to kind of teach these players how to be and the right way to do it. But I really do see that, I see Huberdeau as this kind of guy. He took Pelletier under his wing, and it was, I'm sure years from now we'll hear about how much it meant to probably both of them, because they were both having a hard time in this environment and with the coach. And that can be incredibly isolating. I can only imagine how lonely that feels. And, there are players on every team that, hold themselves to that Murdoch expectation, because that's just how you want to be. You want to be a good guy. You want to help players. You want to help everyone. And you just want to be a good person and play a good game, right? Well, coming up next, we are going to talk more about leadership within the Flames organization and how Murdoch's legacy is being passed on through this current Flames team. But before we do that, we are going to take a quick minute here to talk about FanDuel. Take your first swing at betting Major League Baseball on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets up to $200. That's right, just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you can spend betting everything from the money line to the under over to who you think's going to hit the first home run. Garrett Cole strikeouts over. Hammer that. All on an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on Major League Baseball than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So go sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get $200 in bonus bets. That is FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. And thank you everyone for hanging around and enjoying the off season with me. We're all just waiting. It's August. We are crawling along here, but I think one of the biggest things that stuck with me from last year is how the players were basically, they were captainless. So there wasn't that player that was like set apart from anyone in like any kind of hierarchy that, that voice, like, quote unquote, mattered. Everyone's voice matters in that situation. But like, there was no captain going toe to toe and standing up for that locker room. And that played a big role in a lot of the incidents last year, whatever those may have been. But how do you get this roster that is essentially the same to be excited to come to work? Obviously, you have the front office changes, you have the coaching changes, and you're bringing in a lot of great hockey minds. You're bringing in Mark Savard, I am so excited to see what he does with this team's offense. I think it's going to be it's just going to be something that we'll actually enjoy. But I really think that you have to look at this roster for what it is, right? You're not making many changes as of August 4th, right? So say we're going into camp with essentially the same roster as last year, minus the Ritchie brothers and Michael Stone and Tyler Toffoli. So like you have different pieces there, and potentially Oliver Shillington's coming back, right? But how are you going to get this team hyped and psyched to go to work? Everyone has said they were not having fun last year. And I understand, it's work. Work isn't going to be fun. You are playing professional hockey. You should be having fun. If the environment is that bad, something has to change. And there have been changes. It's just a matter of keeping these changes going in a positive direction. And I really think that one of the things you're going to see here at camp is Iginla on the ice. I think you are absolutely going to see Jarome Iginla out on the ice and be like interacting with this team. Yes, he's part of the front office and he's coaching in the WHL, but I believe it's the WHL. It might be different juniors. I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but it's a matter of him integrating himself with the players and showing like he's there. I don't know if Craig Conroy still skates. I don't know. But, I'm sure he might be down there. If not, he'll be at ice level. I think a lot of this next season is going to be making sure these players are enjoying themselves. And people are probably saying, well, they're grown adults, they're playing professional hockey, they should just put their big boy pants on and grow up and stop being soft. Last year was miserable. Absolutely miserable. How many times have we said on this show that like the hockey was unwatchable? Now imagine going out there and playing that night after night. You wouldn't be having fun either. And I really think that we are going to see Jonathan Huberdeau again take over this kind of leadership role, especially with Jacob Pelletier, who is poised to be in the NHL next season, and they already have that really close relationship, and we don't call them the French Connection for nothing, right? And then you had Coronado come in at the end of last season, and Jacob Pelletier went to pick him up from the airport, and they had formed this relationship, and it's just, if you can easily gravitate towards leaders, you're going to be able to, like, you're not impressionable, but you're more moldable, and I think you're more willing to learn that rather than just being someone that just kind of coasts and flies under the radar and doing their own thing. That's just my opinion. I'm not an expert here, but I do really think that we're going to see so many of these guys kind of step up and either, be more vocal in post-game press conferences, any sort of media availability, or they're going to be named captain. I really think that Jacob Markstrom is going to take pleasure in getting Dustin Wolf ready to take over the starting job in a few years. It's just, there's this opportunity that is presenting itself right here for so many of these players that have been doing this for a very long time. And there's no reason why they shouldn't be taking the initiative to be leaders, essentially, right? But there have been conversations, obviously, about who's going to be named captain. They've offered it to Backlund, but he didn't take it, which probably means he's going to be traded. When, we don't know. We're still waiting. Don't place a bet on that. But who could that be? I think that Rasmus Andersson and Mackenzie Weegar and Jonathan Huberdeau are my front runners. I really firmly believe in my heart that Andersson and Weegar they are the heartbeat of this team. Matthew Tkachuk was the heartbeat of this team for like almost his entire tenure as a Flame. And those two have just pumped energy and excitement and honesty into this lineup, and they bring the energy on the ice night after night. Mackenzie Weegar basically played a big role in getting the proposal for the new arena being voted on and whatnot. So, they're making a difference, okay? They're making a difference. Rasmus Andersson was hit by a car last season, missed 2 games, came back, and was like, yeah, I'm fine. It's fine. But it was not fine. He was still hurt. But, they have that grit that hockey players need to have and possess in order to, be a successful hockey player. And I think everyone really learned from last year. There has to be a designated leader. There absolutely has to be someone that can just command a room and say, this isn't going right. We need to change this, or recommend something for a change, and to have their voice be heard. I don't think that it's going to be an issue with Ryan Huska as anywhere near as much as it was with the prior coach, but you still need someone in that room that's going to go to bat for your team and be a leader. It's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, but if it was easy, everyone would be a leader. And I really think, again, Andersson, Weegar, and Huberdeau are my candidates for captaincy. I really like what they bring to the game and what they bring to the energy they bring to the Flames locker room. And, I can only imagine how it is truly behind the scenes from what we see in the media availability. So it'll be interesting. I would love to see a captain named ahead of the season or on opening night, because, they do have the Heritage Classic in late October. And I think that would be fun. I really do think that would be a really cool thing to obviously be a part of, but to be the captain of, I don't know. I feel like that would be a little more special. But coming up next, we are going to wrap up this week with winners and losers of the week, because boy, has this week just been one disappointment after the other. And thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me here on Locked On Flames. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts so you can find out the latest news as soon as it happens. if anything ever does happen, because we are still waiting for any sort of movement. Tyler Toffoli being the only piece moved here is astonishing. If you told me back in April that no one would be traded by August, I would have said you're upside down. you're out of your mind. And here we are, and it's the reality. But winners and losers of the week. Winner, Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer for getting the heck out of the Mets organization. Verlander went to Houston, and I believe Scherzer went to the Rangers. So, good for them. They were really big acquisitions for the Mets, and things just didn't work out. And that is kind of unfortunate, because we all know how that is. You get this big star, and it just fails to live up to expectations, and the players around you aren't that good. Where have we seen that before? Canadian Swifties, you finally got tour dates. Granted, it is across the country in Toronto, so if you're going, you're going to have to fly and, spend a little bit of money to get there. But I hope everyone that's registered for pre-sale gets their chance and gets their code, because, you deserve some sort of happiness, especially if you're a Flames fan listening to this. You deserve a treat. You deserve a whole lot more than just a Taylor Swift concert. And Diana Taurasi for hitting 10,000 career points in the WNBA. That is just what? I don't even think I'll ever hit 10,000 curbs with my car. And I'm probably getting up there. But, it's so cool to have like a special skill like that, right? To obviously be a professional basketball player and to hit these milestones. Like, I think about the Flames 2 seasons ago and Jacob Markstrom and how good he was and how good special teams were. Like, to be able to have a skill and own it, that, and just be so dominant at it is so cool. Like, I love baking, but I don't belong on the Food Network because I can bake, right? If I was better and like a pioneer woman, then yes, I'd be on the Food Network. But instead I stick to podcasting, right? But everyone has a skill. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, I'm not good at something. Yes, you are. You just may not know it. And maybe you don't have the environment to foster that interest or whatever, but you have a skill and you should own it. Now the losers of the week. Dare I start with the New York Mets? Kind of basically said it in the first part here with Verlander and Scherzer leaving. And then Steve Cohen still saying, yeah, we're going to be competitive, and maybe we'll be competitive in 2025, 2026. What are we doing? It is 2023, August, and you just lost 2 key players, and you want to say you're still competitive. Okay. All right. Well, I do love a little glass of delusion, so I'm not gonna stop you there. But Tom Wilson's contract, let's just keep going. Tom Wilson signed a 7-year, $45 million contract today at 31 years old. So, I know we talk about the Flames being stupid with money and contracts, but at least they haven't done something like that yet. Maybe they did it worse with Huberdeau, but I think Huberdeau is a much better hockey player than Tom Wilson. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to say that. I mean, you don't need to be a violent physical player and score goals to be a super good hockey player. But anyways, good for him. Glad he got his bag. And now the Tom Wilson trade rumors can stop. And all of us that are still holding up for a preseason trade, we might be some losers. Because every Sunday night I go to bed and I'm like, this is the week. This is the week that Craig Conroy has finalized a trade. And it never happens. maybe if I stop thinking about it, it'll happen. A little reverse psychology here for the universe, right? But yeah, no, I think that we're just silly little geese for still thinking that a preseason trade is going to happen. A significant preseason trade will happen, but it is still quiet on Elias Lindholm's end. Buddy, we got to pick up the pace a little bit here. I hear Boston's beautiful. I don't know if they have the money for it, but if you would like, I can show you some great apartments. I can call a realtor for you. Yeah, no, Noah Hannafin, you've still got family there, so, maybe you go too. But that is all I have for today because we are running out of time here on Locked On Flames. And thank you, everyone, for riding out this offseason with us here. I hope you enjoyed the crossover with Jeff Middleton and Brian Baston earlier this week. If you haven't already, definitely go check it out. Go check out Locked On Sharks because I made a special appearance over there, and it's a funny one. It's a funny one. I do say so myself. So make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you're getting your podcasts, and of course, free 99 on YouTube as well. You can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto or the Flames Twitter, the podcast's Twitter account, X account, LO_Flames pod, and I will see you next week.